Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Taco Rick channel. As the title and thumbnail has already shown you, today we're gonna be doing a complete interior detail on the Taco, on the Beast, on the truck. You guys probably can't tell from this angle, but it's actually fairly dirty on the inside. And I've actually never cleaned it since I bought the truck, and we have 13,000 miles now on the Tacoma. So like, I got a lot of crumbs. The driver's side obviously is the most dirty. A lot of dust, a lot of crumbs back here on the leather. The center isn't too bad, to be honest. In the back here, more crumbs and gravel and dirt, and got some mud stains on the seats themselves. So a little bit of work that needs to be done to get this thing all cleaned up. One nice part, if you do have a Tacoma though, these big giant leather floor mats that literally are like WeatherTech, like they cover everything, including in the front. Like, these cover so much. Like, it's so clean underneath here. These things are a lifesaver when it comes to making sure that you keep your truck nice and clean, because everything just collects there. You take these out and it makes it a lot easier to clean the truck. The hard part is like underneath the seats. That's the hardest thing to get to. But let me show you the tools of the trade that we're gonna be using for the complete full interior detail. And honestly, it's not much. Of course, the main thing we need is a vacuum. So I have my little 2 horsepower Armor All vacuum. I love it because it's nice and compact and easier to bring along. But the big thing is it has a bunch of attachments. So it's got this little fine one here. I use this one all the time. It's got a widespread one, which I really don't use that much. And then it's got a fine cone as well, which you can put that on. So a vacuum with a bunch of attachments really goes a long way when it comes to cleaning and detailing a vehicle. Then the products of choice for all of the glass, we're using Windex, just standard Windex, nothing special there. My interior plastic thing of choice is the Meguiar's Quick Interior Detail Cleaner. I love this stuff because it doesn't leave like that shiny coating or whatever that collects dust really easily. It leaves a nice matte finish that's dry to the touch. It's not like a wet shine or anything like that. I love having just like a matte plastic feel. It just cleans it, protects it, it's great. Then for the leather in the truck, I have a couple of options that I use. I have just the normal Meguiar's Gold Class Rich Leather Cleaner. That's what we're probably gonna be using today. But on older vehicles where I have leather, I tend to use the Armor All Outless Leather Restorer to basically try and restore leather in some of the older vehicles. So probably gonna be using this today though. Then to go with the cleaning products, we have some microfiber towels. We got a couple different brushes. We just have a standard paintbrush. We have some of these. These are good for getting all the nooks and crannies. Then we have a nice little scrubby right here. This is really good for the plastic door wells when you get a lot of mud on them. This helps really get all that mud and dirt off of them. So now, very similar to the exterior video where I walked you guys through how to detail the exterior, which is sad because this truck is completely dirty right now. Like, there's bugs and all kinds of crap on the front of the truck right now, unfortunately. But I'm gonna walk you guys step by step through how I completely detail the interior of this truck to make it look factory brand new. So let's get started. The first step is to take all of the mats and everything out of the Tacoma. So I'm gonna get started on that right now. One little quick tip, and you could probably assume this already, but when you're taking the mats out, you want to fold them in a way that you don't spill all the crumbs out into your carpet. So I like to just fold them up and pull them out. The back one's a little more tricky. I like to take whatever side is the least dirty and kind of fold it over to that side and then pull it all out. That right there was step 1. Now we move on to step 2, which is one of the longest processes, and that is vacuuming out the whole truck. I'm gonna try and get you guys some clips as I'm doing this, but I'm using a variety of different vacuum tools to get into all the nooks and crannies. You wanna try your best to get underneath the seats. So some tips for vacuuming, like I showed you, I have different tips and different options for the vacuum that help a lot when it comes to vacuuming out the truck. One little tip though, when you start, is I always like to start in the front of the truck and work my way back, because the front is normally the dirtiest. Work your way to the back where it's the cleanest. So first step though is to push your seats all the way back. Push your front seats all the way back. It'll make some nice fart noises for you. So push it all the way back, and then also lean it back as far as it will go. So that way you can really get in between the bottom and the top of the seat. Gonna do the same on the other side, and then we will get started with vacuuming. It seems I forgot to press record on the second half of the vacuuming. I don't know if I did or not. Well, you guys saw the vacuuming, but anyways, vacuumed everything, vacuumed the seats, vacuumed all the crevices underneath the seats. That's a big thing, get underneath the seats as much as you can. Even did the doors, as you guys probably saw. So that's the first vacuum. There's actually 2 vacuums that I do. So the first vacuum is getting as much of the big stuff out as possible, and most of the fine stuff. So basically as much as I can possibly get, but I'm not being too picky on making sure I get everything just yet. Next stage, I'm going to work on the interior basically. So we're gonna be using the Meguiar's interior detail cleaner, going over all the plastics, and then we'll do the seats last, and then we'll do a second vacuum, and then we'll put the floor mats in. That was a lot, but right now we're gonna be using some microfiber towels, these little brushes and stuff, and our interior detail cleaner. So I'm gonna walk you guys through some of the tips and tricks of how I do this, and let's get started. First step is to push the seats back again. A lot of back and forth with the seats. So inside of the 2020 Tacoma right here, what I like to do is first unhook the steering wheel and pull it down and out, so that way it's ready to go, as open as we could possibly get. I also pull the emergency brake up so that way we can get into here. But the first thing is really to just start spraying. Spray down literally just about everything, even up top, around here. This is how I do it. Doesn't have to be how you do it. This is how I do it. I love the smells too. Even get back here. So once everything is sprayed down, what I'm gonna do is take my brushes. So I have this brush right here with kind of the harder brushes, and then I got a big brush with the finer ones. The big brush with the finer ones is for these air vents. So I like to go into these air vents, kind of go around them, and then I kind of like to go over all the nooks and crannies with the big brush. So mostly it's for the air vents though, to get those nice and clean. Some of the detailed items around here, mine isn't too dirty, but this is mostly to get into all those little nooks and crannies and kind of just loosen up all the dirt. Good one is right here. There's a lot of areas. Get back here behind the wheel. Get all these things over on this side. Do this air vent. Reach over and do this air vent. Go through and clean up all this stuff. This is why I like the big brush. It gets a lot of stuff done at once. But it's really just trying to get all the dust and all the little crumbs that might be lying in all these areas. Hit all the cup holders. Their switches over here. Don't forget their back cup holders back here. Now that all of that has kind of been wiped down, you will notice that I avoided kind of the glass areas. And that's because I want to make sure I use a very fine, clean towel to wipe those down, because I don't want to put any scratches on them, especially this console up here. This thing likes to scratch very easily, so that's why we're doing that. So I'm going to now use the rag and wipe everything down. As I'm wiping down, I take the brush with me, kind of hit all these areas that you can't really get a towel into real well. Just clean everything down. Like I said, I'm using a very clean surface of this. I'm going to be lightly going over this screen here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to another clean section of this towel, spray it again, and then clean it off all the way. And this is one reason why I like the Meguiar's quick interior cleaner. The fact that it's a matte finish, it doesn't leave streaks, it doesn't leave any of this. So you can use it on stuff like the glass of the gauge cluster. Same thing with the center console over here. Lightly going over it. As you can see, nice, shiny, nice matte finish, looking good. So now we gotta move on to kind of the bottom areas right here. This is where I like to use a throwaway towel. So whenever I clean these bottom sills right here, whatever towel I use for this, I don't use anywhere else, because I don't wanna scratch up any of the plastic and whatnot. So same sort of thing, spray all this down, spray some of the underside down here, and same thing with the doors. Just spray them all down. Try to avoid hitting the glass, but we'll clean the glass separately. Get your brush, go through, brush out all the things, use your microfiber towel, clean it all off, very simple. Down here, I also use a paintbrush, or I use one of these scratches right here. These scratches are nice for this because it tends to be a little bit dirtier, just to loosen up all that dirt. And yes, this is not that dirty, but you can imagine if it gets really muddy, it's really nice to have one of these. So as you guys can barely tell, everything but the seats is clean. And as you can also tell, it's getting dark. Unfortunately, bad timing on my part, so that you guys get a good video and all that. I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow and finish the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And now, 3 days later, we are continuing with the interior detail. Yes, 3 days later, unfortunately. Step one was doing the initial sweeping out of the vehicle, sweeping underneath of everything, getting it nice and clean. So far, we've done the first 3 steps in detailing the interior of your vehicle. Step one is take everything out of the vehicle. Step two was sweeping out the vehicle, every last last little bit the first time over. We're gonna be doing it a second time here at the end. And the third thing was going through and detailing all of the interior pieces with the Meguiar Interior Quick Detailer. Now we're gonna be moving on to step 4, and this is particular to anyone that has leather seats. We're gonna be cleaning the leather seats. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there are 2 leather cleaners that I typically use. I have my quick and easy one right here. We have the Meguiar's Gold Class Rich Leather. This is a 3-in-1. This is cleaner, conditioner, and protection. It's a very simple thing and very easy to apply. Basically, we spray it on, we work it in with a microfiber towel. This is what I'm gonna be using on this detail, mostly because this truck is practically brand new. I mean, I just bought it in March. It doesn't really have any signs of wear and tear. It's practically brand new. So I'm gonna be using the quick version. Then we have the Armor All Outlast Leather Restorer. This is what I like to use on older leather, especially like the grays and the tans, because those over time do tend to dinge and get dirt in them. And this stuff works really well to get all that dirt out. So I use this in combination with a microfiber towel, or sometimes a little bit of a scratch pad to get the deep dirt out of older leather. But again, we're gonna be using this one today. So it's very simple. Going to squirt it on, going to work it in with a microfiber towel, and we're gonna be done with all the leather. So let's get to it. Alright, so as you guys can see, the leather now is all nice and shiny. There are some weird shadows that are being caused by the light as it bounces around on the different windows and such. But I can assure you guys that this is 100% clean, nice, shiny, good to go. So now that we have all of the plastics clean, all of the plastics are nice and clean, the doors are all clean, door wells, etc. All good to go. We can move on to the next step. And this is kind of where you can pick and choose on where you want to go. So in terms of things that we have left, we need to clean the mats, clean the rubber mats, we need to clean the windows, and we need to do one final sweep and put the mats back in and everything else back in, and then we're done. So what I'm gonna move on to now is the glass. So I like to clean the glass first, and then I clean the mats. Then I do my final sweep, put the clean mats back in, ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the window. So I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video, I use these really fine microfiber towels, and these work really well to avoid getting streaks. So basically, I always start on the passenger side. This is a tip I picked up long ago when I was detailing. It is a lot easier to reach the driver's side by doing this, by flipping your hand upside down and basically doing the driver's side like this. So to do windows, I always spray the window cleaner onto the rag. So when you guys saw me doing the dash and everything, I wasn't too concerned about overspray because I knew I was going to be cleaning the windows. But when I clean the windows, I don't want overspray from the Windex getting onto the nice clean plastic and causing watermarks and making it not look as clean as what it really is. So I spray it onto the towel. So with the towel nice and wet, we can now start cleaning. And I'm only doing half of the windshield here, and just a note, you want to go in straight line motions, no circles, straight up and down, straight up and down. Now I'm going to flip to a dry side and dry it off. Now obviously my windshield does not look clean because the outside of the windshield is not clean, so keep that in mind. I'm going to be cleaning the exterior probably in the next couple days, so the exterior is not clean, but the interior is going to be nice and detailed and clean. So I'm going to do the other side now. I'm going to flip to another clean section and do the same process. While I'm here, I'm going to hit the rearview mirror, clean it as well, and I'm going to do my moonroof. And now I'm going to do the driver windows, the insides, and then the passenger windows, and then the rear window, and that's all. So I got another rag. Clean the window. And now we're going to do probably one of the trickiest windows people think to do, but really it's not that hard. So what you need to do is lift up on your headrest here and slide them down, or you can pull them out completely. The middle one does not fold down, so I like to just pull it out. That way you can access your full back window. And same method as before. So with the windows done, I pulled the truck out so that I can have light to clean my mats. Now typically when I do clean mats, I like to have the hose with me so that I can hose these out and scrub them down. But I don't have that luxury, so what we're gonna be doing is basically a waterless cleaning of the mats. So what I do is I use the following. A mixture of degreaser and water, in this case Purple Power and water. and a bunch of microfiber towels. Old, beat up microfiber towels to be specific. Now first off, my mats are nowhere near as dirty as what they could be. If they were any dirtier than this, you absolutely want to go find yourself a hose, spray these off, so that way you don't use a crap load of towels trying to clean them. In my case, mine are not that dirty, so we're gonna use the waterless method. So the first thing you wanna do is just spray down the whole entire mat. Spray it down nice and good. You really wanna soak the whole mat. And while that is soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and spray down the other ones as well. So now with the microfiber towel, all we do is really just clean it. Just wipe it down as best you can. A tip I like to do is kind of fold it with a little crease, and you can run it through these grades right here. That cleans it up nice and good. And just keep making little folds and just go back and forth through all the grades. It does take a while, but this is how you get an OEM clean. Look at that. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but that's clean. That right there is what that looks like when you go through it like I just did. Nice and clean. So I'm gonna wipe down all these, enjoy the time lapse, and I will show you guys the finished product. And that right there is how you get these mats OEM clean. They are not slick to the touch either, so your feet aren't gonna slide everywhere. They're nice, clean, normal, and that is how you do it waterlessly. So just with some degreaser, water mixture, and a little bit of time with the microfiber towel, that's how you get them clean. Like I said, the best way to do this though is to go get yourself a hose, spray them down, then you hit them with that degreaser again, and you go through with a brush and you scrub them all out, and then you spray them down again, and you let them dry out in the sun, and you'll get the same result. A lot quicker, a little bit easier, a little less manual work, but nonetheless, that's how you get your mats nice and clean, no matter how much mud you got on them. All right, so now I'm gonna back the truck back in here. I'm gonna do the final sweep, put the mats back in, and we're gonna be done. Just kind of wanted to show you guys why I do a final sweep. You see how there's still a lot of dirt around like the edges and stuff that still needs swept up. Here in the back, you can see a lot of dirt, stuff like that. That's because when you do the initial sweep, it does do a good job, but when you start to clean the plastics and the leather, you kick up a lot of dust, and you do get a lot of crumbs and stuff that come from the seats and stuff, and eventually work their way back onto the floor, as well as you're standing in there when you're cleaning all this stuff. So the last thing you want to do when you finish cleaning all of your interior is do a second final sweep to sweep all the last little bits out, and then put your mats back in. And if you have fabric mats, you're going to sweep those fabric mats again when you get them back in too. So in my case, I got rubber mats, so I'm on the final sweep, going to put the rubber mats back in, and I'm going to be done with the complete interior detail. And just like that, the interior detail is complete. Now, it is kind of dark out here and it's hard to get you some nice photos of how clean it is. So I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow in the sunlight where you guys can see the interior in its full detailed gloriness. All right guys, it's the evening of the next day, and let me show you guys this clean interior detail. Do a burnout. Alrighty guys, that wraps up the interior detail. I hope you guys enjoyed the walkthrough of how I detail the interior of my truck. Again, I used to detail cars when I was basically in high school throughout college to make a little side money. So I learned quite a bit, and I hope you guys learned something as well. If you guys have any tips or tricks that you want to suggest to me, leave them down in the comment section down below. Be sure to slap a like on this video, and also smash the subscribe button, because we're on the goal to 10K by the end of the year, so that way I have an excuse to buy myself a sports car. So you guys hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, share it with a friend, and I will see you guys in the next video. Tucker Rick out. Peace.